10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is January 10th, and I know that there's a whole lot of news that's been going on, and we're going to get to that very soon, but I kind of promised these guys from OpenUX that their report on Rocket Pool was going to be the first thing that I talked about today, and that's what I'm going to start with. So if you are waiting to see ETF news or ETH and RPL news, you're going to have to wait a second. We're going to talk about this OpenUX report first. So let's get started with that. So here is a tweet from Georgia, and Georgia says, the OpenUX node operator user experience research study for Rocket Pool has completed. The study findings illuminate the current user journey of becoming a node operator, identifying the pains and blockers that prevent someone from setting up a node, and are packed with recommendations. So let's have a look and see what Georgia says. She says, you can read the full report here, and then there's a link. And massive props to Victor for leading this incredible work with Rocket Pool. And she says a few sneak peeks. The learnings are procrastination is the enemy of completion. Node operators get stuck in the consideration and onboarding steps of the journey because they lack a sufficient trigger to motivate them into action. And our report makes recommendations to solve this. And then Georgia goes on to say, we segmented study participants by technical ability and amount of ETH bonded. These users have different needs and pains, and any staking protocol should consider tailoring the value proposition and onboarding experience to account for this. So there were some users with lower technical ability and less bonded ETH, and then there were some with more bonded ETH and higher technical ability, and like a whole kind of like spectrum right there. You can see it on the screen. And then the next tweet says, the journey of becoming a Rocket Pool node operator should be seen as a funnel with moments where users may drop off along the way. Our report illuminates 29 unique opportunities that act as prompts for designing novel solutions to reduce friction and drop off. And says, read more in the article. And then there's a Medium article that you can go and read some more of their findings about this. If we go to the GMC's thread here, the DAO forum thread, they put out a slightly longer post, going over some of the stuff that was mentioned in the tweets, but just giving a bit more of an overview of what happened. So it says, over the last 3 months, OpenUX has been working with Rocket Pool on a GMC grant-funded user research initiative to deeply understand and find ways to improve the experience for node operators in the Rocket Pool ecosystem. And says these were the goals of our study were to illuminate existing user journey of becoming a node operator, identifying the pains and blockers that prevent an interesting party from setting up their own node, and identifying ways to encourage more people to become node operators. And then they said, we want to thank all the contributors who supported us in shaping and executing this research, with special shout outs to Wack, Patches, Langus, and Val. I was involved in talking to people from OpenUX, and it was a really great experience. They were really professional and really asked good questions, and were very, very open to hearing the information that I had, and I'm sure Patches, Langas, and Val as well. And says thank you to many participants who took part in the study, either by survey or interview, and shared their experiences. So it says please read our full report here, and then there's a link. And then giving some key learnings. So they said, the procrastination thing, and then went into more detail about that, about how not all node operators are equal, and how Rocket Pool needs to shape a bundle of benefits that can appeal to a diverse set of users with different requirements and motivations. And there's more information about that there as well. And it says there are different reasons a user might drop off at different stages of the user journey and becoming a node operator. And then they're kind of talking about the awareness stage, the consideration stage, and the choice stage, and what can happen at each of those stages. And then it says what next, and says if you have any questions or comments about this research study, please ask in this forum. We hope to do an AMA about the research in Discord. If you'd like us to present the work to any specific teams, let us know. And I know the GMC has already reached out about that, have a GMC specific meeting. And then it says we're hoping to engage in the internal team and wider community to ideate and co-design possible solutions from the opportunities library that can be implemented to ensure the continued success of the protocol in attracting and retaining node operators. More on that soon. So here's the report itself, where you can see that this is I guess it's still classed as work in progress. Maybe that's just I don't know why it says that at the top left. But anyway, here's the report. And there's methodology section, segmentation and insights, and user journey insights, and info for usability and growth. So it's 76-page report, and they talked about how many people were involved, and the shadowing and interview sessions, and a whole lot of community input came into this. And then there's like sections on insights and takeaway. But the main things, we just kind of covered those. There's a lot more depth in here. So if you want to go in and like have a look at some of the things that were talked about here, you can get some really good information. You get some really good information about the deeper dive into some of those ideas. And I know that I got access to this report a couple of days ago, and then everything kind of went crazy with the ETF stuff, so I haven't really had time to sit down and like dig into it deeper. But when the GMC has our meeting with them, I'm going to go through all, take notes, and ask you all as well for any input that you have, so we can try to get really good information out of that. So they already did a report I think a month ago, which was like a preliminary report with some good information, and now this one they just they go so much more detail to get all this out there. So this is a really, really great report, and the detail is fantastic. So go and have a look, and have a look at what it says, and you can see what is good for you, because I think there's a lot of good information here. And then next as well, they have this node operator journey map, and this is best seen on a local PDF viewer, because it's kind of restricted of how you can see it in the browser, but they're all the different stages to becoming a node operator, and what happens at all those different stages. So the awareness and consideration phases, and after that the onboarding phase as well, and all the different things that happen at those different stages, and then the maintenance phase finally, and what could be blockers at those stages as well. So they've really gone into a whole lot of details here, and I think that's really awesome to see. So thank you so much, OpenUX team. We're going to engage with this a lot more deeply in the coming days, so we're going to be in touch. I know this is just the beginning of a conversation for us all. Okay, so yesterday something really funny happened. Well, it was definitely one of the most fascinating days that I've had in crypto in my 6+ years now in crypto. Right here, so the original tweet was deleted, so I'm just focusing on this from Song a Dayman, who has the screenshot in his song that he wrote about it today. So in his song here, this is the tweet that went out yesterday. So it went out yesterday saying, today the SEC grants approval for Bitcoin ETFs for listing on all registered national securities exchanges. The approved Bitcoin ETFs will be subject to ongoing surveillance and compliance measures to ensure continued investor protection. And then there's like a little image with Gary and a quote of his next to it. Gary, of course, Gary Gensler being the head of the SEC. So that tweet was deleted. Now you might wonder, why was that deleted? And we're going to come to that in a second. But before that, let's go to the Discord to see what the reaction like. So here, Bagol Gel was the first person to post it at just after 4 p.m. Eastern time, saying today the SEC grants approval. And then people were just like, Gary came through for crypto, and are we going to the moon or what? And then literally, then Pateris shares the tweet as well, and then people started to get happy, and it was actually, now that I'm looking at it, it was a little bit of an understated reaction at that first instance. And then people started sharing it and started talking about it. The price was going up and down. Nobody really knew what was going on. And then a few minutes later, literally just over 10 minutes later, Gary Gensler puts out a tweet saying the SEC government Twitter account was compromised and an unauthorized tweet was posted. The SEC has not approved listing and trading of spot Bitcoin exchange traded products. So it was literally like a rug in 10 minutes, and it was a whiplash. It was a complete whiplash, and people had no idea what was going on. I should have actually had the BTC. Here's the candles from yesterday. So as you can see, that in the first instance, BTC hit a cycle high of 49,000 sorry, 47,972, and then literally a few minutes later, it went down to 44,748. So there was a big Darth Maul candle, basically, kind of a thing going on there. And nobody really knew what was going on, who to believe. Like, do you believe Gary? Do you believe the original account? Well, as those discussions were going on, then everything kind of was, all the information was coming out on Twitter. So here, there was a Bloomberg Television were talking about it at the time. They got Eric Balchunas on to talk about it, and during the conversation, it says Gary Gensler says SEC Twitter account was compromised. So here, Eric says that he posited a theory really quickly, saying that the SEC were trying to save it as a draft in Twitter at the time. This is his theory that he put, but instead of saving it as a draft, they either misscheduled the draft and pushed it a day earlier because they thought it was going to happen today on the 10th instead of on the 9th, or someone basically hit publish instead of hitting save draft, and that's why it went out. But then there were some things that were, and then here's Eric as well saying this on TV, talking about this. And yes, I think someone prepped a planned tweet but put the wrong date, because the tweet would have made perfect sense tomorrow at this time. The language sounds legit SEC-ish in my opinion, versus a crypto knucklehead pulling a prank, but I guess we'll see. So that was like the instant understanding yesterday from Eric. And then Adam, I think, has the most, Adam Cochran here has, I think, what I think is the most legitimate explanation of what happened yesterday. So he says, my guess is the SEC account was both hacked and the tweet was real. So he says the hacker first tweeted and then deleted just the ticker. He just put hashtag BTC and then deleted that post. And he said likely found the tweet with the aforementioned graphic and Gensler quote in the draft folder. SEC wouldn't get the date wrong, and the tweet only ticker and like meme responses to approval. So the other thing happened is, as responses started to come in to that post, the SEC account started liking some of the meme responses. And here I'm saying the hacker wouldn't be someone to meticulously plan and prepare a graphic that is installed at SEC and also be dumb enough to just tweet a ticker like it's a meme. So both things are true, and the approval announcement is lined up. So that's kind of like where the understanding was yesterday. And then Adam, presented. Adam, in his famous style of having really long Twitter threads, kind of went through it and presented a whole lot of like what he thinks evidence of how his theory kind of makes sense. Later, X put out a report saying that there was some issues with unauthorized access to that account and blah blah blah, but it was a whole lot of nothing. But here, Charles put out a tweet yesterday afternoon saying securities lawyers tell Fox Business that the SEC government will have to investigate itself for market manipulation after moving the price of BTC up and down following the hack tweet that had wait a second, I'm just getting a ping. Let me see what this says. So here is tier 10K right now. This is literally right now when I'm recording it, saying the SEC approves the first spot Bitcoin ETF. So I don't know what information they are using to share this, but this is breaking news right now, live as of literally a few seconds ago. So we're going to come back to this, but this is expected now. Like this was definitely going to happen today, and I'm going to talk about it in a second as well. So let's move on from there for a second. So sorry, I messed my links up. So basically the SEC, like here the child says market manipulation after moving the price of a BTC up and down following the hack tweet that approved the first BTC ETF and then saying it was fake. That said, for the SEC not to approve tomorrow would be unprecedented. It's never rejected ETF applications that have gone as far as these. So this is a developing story. So the funny thing that happened right after was that Coinbase were just like, Coinbase loves ETFs, so they were getting in on action. They've had this tweet ready, this graphic ready, as soon as the SEC's messaging came through. And then today, so there was a whole lot of stuff, about different forms that were being submitted, and there were screenshots that people were sharing from their Fidelity accounts and also from E-Trade accounts, where you could see that the ETFs were like kind of available there, but just not trading yet, and they had a zero price. And then here, Henry shared this tweet saying CBOE issues listing circulars for 6 new Bitcoin ETFs to list tomorrow, January 11th. So this was, as of a couple of hours ago. So they said that these are Invesco, Franklin, ARK21 shares, VanEck, Fidelity, and Wisdom Tree. And there wasn't anything about the iShares, which is the BlackRock one, so that was interesting. But this came out a couple of hours ago. So everyone all day was just basically been saying that this is coming and it's only a matter of time now, and it's going to happen today between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern time, because that's when, like, after business hours, and then they'll get permission to trade tomorrow. And I'm actually getting another ping right here as well, so let's have a look at that. So this is another tweet that's happening right now where the official 19B approvals, and this is going through, and someone is tagging the SEC about let's see what's here. So PDF saying that this is it. Yeah, so I'm getting told that this is now the official breaking news that the ETF has been approved, and that's including Grayscale's GBTC. So that's it, it's done. Congratulations everyone. I think you can dig into this PDF. Let me actually just put it in trading. Let me just see. It's done. So this is what I'm putting right here, and I can just show you all live during the, oh wait, that's not right. Live during the episode, trading response. Let's see what trading is saying right now. And this is mostly going to go into tomorrow's episode. I was a bit slow. So yeah, because I'm actually working right now. But people have started sharing the tweets, and they're saying it begins breaking, and then people saying fungible non-fungible income says waiting the last day of the window for approval denial is probably the big mistake. They could have sprung in the market sometime earlier, but unspecified and unexpected date. A lot of the dump speculation manipulation could have been avoided. And then people are saying approved. And here Sneaky says that these are the different ones that are approved, I think, trying to get that information out there. And people are still skeptical. People are here for the PWAP. So yeah, I was a bit slow, and now we are amazing. Okay, well, I'm going to talk about that in a second. Actually, we're getting a little bit ahead of things here, so let's move on with the episode. So okay, then as soon as the Bitcoin ETF approval news came through yesterday, at that point everyone was just like, this is it. Wolf was like, the Bitcoin ETF is approved, the ETH bull market starts now. So what was going on with this? Basically that the narrative has shifted now, right? So Wolf was one of the first people to put out this tweet saying that the narrative has shifted. And why was Bull saying this is because here people were getting screenshots of the ETH BTC ratio and what was going on with that. And there was a pump, right? So nobody knew, was ETH going to dump against BTC? Was it going to pump against BTC? So in that period between the approval and the claim of the hack, ETH moved up against BTC, right? Which was not what people were expecting. They were expecting it to dump. And then here Bossy says, was there an RPL ETF? We're going to come to that next as well. Actually, let's just stick with the ETH for now. So here, Jasper jumped on it right away, saying that there's a whole lot of things for ETH. This is the ETH season. We've got restaking, we've got LSTs, we've got Rocket Pool, we've got staking ETF coming maybe next year, Proto-Dank sharding, ZK AVM, 2024 is the year. All of this amazing stuff is going to happen. Here Wolf was then sharing charts showing about like different TA patterns about what the ETH BTC ratio is looking like, and painting presenting a bullish image for that. Then Caprice Feldman here had a really interesting point. He says, boy, they really showed their hand with the ETH BTC ratio. Now what he was saying here is that the news of the approval might have been fake, but the response to that news is the key thing, right? And the response was that ETH pumped. Now, what does that mean for us is that the narrative has shifted. That's what we can say from here, right? Is that the narrative has now moved from BTC, ETF to now ETH. ETH has been undervalued. ETH is behind, but now all of a sudden, ETH has got a hard fork coming up in March with the Cancun Dencun update, and then it's got its own ETF approvals. Which now that the BTC one has been approved, then the ETH one is much more likely to be approved in May, or even maybe potentially before then, if the documents are all copy and paste from the existing ones. So this was the one where everyone was like really starting to jump on this right away. So here ETH Prophet had a tweet saying that in anticipation of that news, BTC went down 1.4%, but ETH went up 5.3%. So I says this is the path to max pain. Just think how many people cough Ben Cowan, who has Into the Cryptoverse YouTube channel, which is a really big technical analysis kind of channel. And he says, just think how many people were waiting for ETH to plunge before they're traded in. Literally on the day before yesterday, I've forgotten what day it is now. It's Wednesday. Yeah, on Monday, Ben Cowan released a video about ETH BTC and saying that the ratio is going to go down to 0.4 or even lower potentially in that kind of range. A good 20% drop from where it was. So that's kind of what I was referencing, right? The argument that I was trying to make was that if you think that the ratio is going to go down, then the max pain thing would be for ratio to go up. Now, the idea is that if you are waiting for the price to go down and you have this trade in mind, right? You think, okay, ETH is going to outperform Bitcoin in the coming months or the next year or in this bull cycle. So I want to swap my Bitcoin for ETH. Now I want to wait to swap that when the price goes down. So what will happen then is I will get that chance to buy in at a good price, and then the price can move up after that over the next year. However, if the price doesn't go down, if it just moves up, all those people who had that trade in mind have two options. First of all, they can just stay in Bitcoin, which they know is going to underperform ETH. Oh, they think, that's their idea that they have in their mind. Or the second thing could be that they're swapping. They say, okay, it's not going to go down. I'm just going to take the hit. That 20% would have been nice, but now I'm just going to buy it regardless. And I think that's kind of the idea that was given out yesterday, right? With this is because ETH pumped, and that would be the path to max pain. And then I said Ethereum was going to get to see what max pain looks like this week. So people have been fading ETH. They've been saying that ETH is done. Why would you have ETH? You can have Bitcoin for the store of value. You can have Solana for the fast, cheap transactions. Why would you need ETH? But all of those people who were of that persuasion, of that mindset, they're going to find out now what was waiting for ETH. And I think that this next period is going to be really bullish for ETH. So here, then, Max here was kind of echoing the same things, the points that I was making. He says most components for ETH BTC bottom are here. The narrative shift has happened. So the BTC ETF has now moved to an ETH ETF, which should be here in May. Upcoming events, like you've got EigenLayer airdrop, which a whole lot of people are farming, with over $1 billion of ETH. There's a chart, it's had a 50% correction, and a fake out from the 2022 lows on the ratio going to 0.049 that I talked about in the episode a couple of days ago. And then the sentiment was extreme pessimism. So Alex here is making the case that all of these things are the pure catalyst now for ETH to move up. Now, there's been this idea, and then here, we get a little bit more of actual technical analysis. So here, Blunt is saying the first ETH BTC weekly bull divergence is brewing in oversold territory since 2018. So the argument he's making is that, these conditions are not normal. Like this has not been seen, for 5 or 6 years. And this is the point now where, the next phase of the bull market begins, and ETH is going to outperform Bitcoin. So that was that perspective that was kind of going on there. And then actually I should go back to what Bossy was saying over here that I kind of skipped over earlier. Let me see if I can find that again. Where did it go, Bossy? I'm sorry, I lost your tweet. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I had a tweet from Bossy who showed the Actually, no, we'll come back to that in a second. So here Will says, in the same way that the fake Cointelegraph ETF approval headline forced the market to show its hand, being underallocated to BTC, this fake SEC approval headline forced the market to show its hand on where the ETH BTC probably heads on actual approval. So that movement of it going up right away shows that that will be the trend going forward. And then here, there was a meme, ETH is a woman walking down the street and the guy's with his girlfriend and she's BTC and he's looking at the woman walking down the street instead of his partner. And that's, the popular meme, the guy looking over the shoulder. Now, what else is happening with ETH? Of course, today we find out that politicians are starting to buy it. So here there is a Congress report and they've disclosed the information. So this is from Honorable Michael A. Collins, who's a member, and they have bought between $1,000 and $15,000 of ETH one time, and then between $15,000 and $50,000 of ETH another time. So these buys were in, I can't quite tell the date. They were declared now, so I guess it happened in the last quarter, because they have every quarter they have to declare their purchases. So now people have started buying in Congress. People have started buying ETH. So it's going to be really interesting to see how all that plays out. Now let's have a look at the ETH chart. So on approval, ETH has held up its price really well. In fact, it's just hit a new cycle high of $2,488. And then yesterday, this moment here where this price upward trend started was the moment when the tweet went out. So on the tweet, ETH started pumping and it just hasn't stopped since then. It's just been kind of on an upward tear and it's up 10% in the last 24 hours from the moment of that tweet, which was pretty much exactly 24 hours ago. Now, if we look at ETH against BTC here, again, we can see that, that 0.0479 was a new cycle low for the ratio, but since then it's been in a very strong upward trend, and now it seems to be up 11% on the day. It's gone up 0.00571, and it hit 0.054 and now it's at 0.054 or thereabouts. So it's gone up, and it's gone up quite strongly. And then what has happened since then is what's going on with RPL, right? So yesterday, at the moment of that tweet being released, the ratio was at 0.012 and the price was $28 or thereabouts. And then initially, there was a couple of buys coming in, but the price was kind of going up because ETH was moving. But then the prices started moving as well, and they moved, and there was a whole lot of volume, an unbelievable amount of volume came in overnight and into today. And the ratio has been on an absolute tear, and the RPL price, just one thing over here, $31 and the ratio of 0.0135, and it just kept moving and kept going, and it just didn't stop pretty much all day, and it's just held value extremely strongly. So here we got one of the higher values of today, $33.58 or 0.0138, and then it's just been incredibly strong. So RPL has been on an absolute tear, and if we have a look at what RPL has done compared to ETH, it's even outperformed ETH. And right now, since that news yesterday, the price was at $27.18 on Binance, and since then it's peaked at $34.70, and right now it's at $34.16. So RPL is up 25.6% on the day, which is absolutely phenomenal. And there has been some incredibly strong movement against ETH, against the US dollar, of course, against ETH and against BTC. So this has been absolutely monumental. And then people have started writing about it as well and seeing that the move was coming in. So here we have CoinDesk saying the Ether jumps over $2,400 as traders bet on possible Ether NFT ETF next. So there was some information there, and then into that they started talking about the different tokens that are doing this, and here, there was information that says Lido's LDO and Rocket Pool's RPL gained as much as 17% before retreating, which RPL didn't retreat really. Both protocols allow users to stake Ether on their platforms and earn around 4.5% in annualized staking rewards. So, people were already noticing that Rocket Pool was one of the RPL token, and Rocket Pool, the protocol, was one of the big gainers out of this move. And with that move as well, then we got RPL back into the top 100 tokens on CoinGecko, and it actually fallen down to around 110 in the last few weeks. And I'm just going to refresh CoinGecko now, because when I opened the link, we were at number 100. So we're still at number 100, but on the daily gainers, we are I think on the 24 hours, we are the second biggest gainer after Arbitrum, which is also hitting all-time highs. And on the 7 days, it's a respectable fourth place in terms of gaining over the last 7 days. So that has been a really, really positive things to see. And I think that this has just been been phenomenal. So it's really exciting that this is happening. And here Jasper had this idea and comparing the Lido and RPL market caps. He says, extremely interesting to see that the market cap versus TVL ratio for RPL to Lido is now almost at parity, despite Rocket Pool having a huge amount left to grow and STETH sitting at 33% for over a year. I expect the Houston and Saturn upgrades will catch many by surprise as RETH surges in TVL. So this is just really, really great. Here, the Crypto Barista said the RPL tokenomics are hampering the growth of the protocol, unfortunately, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit later. But Jasper, I think, really got a good idea here of what it means that the position for Rocket Pool here and RPL specifically is looking really good compared to what we see with the LDO token and Lido. Okay, going back to the Discord here now, we've got, moving on from all that exciting stuff, we've got Shifrin here with meeting notes from yesterday's first ever public retrospective meeting of the Grants Management Committee. So this is something that the Grants Management Committee has been trying to do for a while, is trying to become more open with the community and more transparent. So yesterday we had our first public meeting where members of the community could come in and find out what we're talking about. And Shifrin had meeting summary. So he says, great turnout, a dozen community members joined, or more than a dozen actually. At one point, the GMC server got a warning that too many people were joining, and it was like an attack. But of course it wasn't. It was just people from the regular Discord joining, which was really exciting. So then Shifrin said the admin is coordinating with Long for Wisdom on bounty overhaul, which includes a bounty board, bounty RPIP, bounty application templates, and general focus on improving the bounty process. Ken, GMC member, posed the idea of final discussion call. Since the retro amendment discussion window is 48 hours, should we add a call within that period at the same time? So I don't know if it's necessary or not. Maybe sometimes it would be and sometimes it might not be. GMC responsibilities are still not concretely defined. The admin will create an ongoing thread with Dondo, Long for Wisdom, and everyone else to collect suggestions and see what improvements can be made. And visibility is still lacking, so the admin will coordinate with MAV for potential crossover monthly GMC update curated by the admin. And then advertising was suggested. We could run ads on Beacon Chain. Does anybody have a contact like for Buddha? And we could create bounty for AdWords or other marketing manager. And then OpenUX report was published, and the GMC said we should divert a large amount of attention to this and try to leverage it for as many actionable items as possible. And then that was the summary. So a whole lot of people joined the meeting yesterday, and we're going to do this every month. We might make other meetings and calls public as well, but we're taking slow steps towards that. But I think this was a really nice event for the whole community and people who are interested in how the GMC works. I think it was really great to get community members involved in that. Okay, next we had some drama about client the Smartnode stack releases, and we got a new Smartnode stack version 1.11.4, and as you know, if you watched yesterday's episode, we had 1.11.3, and there were some problems with that getting it out. It seems like there was still some problems with 1.11.3, so there was a new version that was put and got out yesterday. So Fornax says this is a quick update to fix regressions on version 1.11.3. It's a recommended update for node operators hit by issues related to the new template files. If you were not affected by any configuration issues, there's no urgency to update again, but ORDA members who already updated to version 1.11.3 don't need to worry about this unless they were affected by any configuration issues. And then we got, the same updates just as a reminder of what was being updated. And then Schifrin, who put out a pull-up for 1.11.3, then changed the criteria saying if anyone updated to 1.11.3 or 1.11.4 gets the pull-up. So that was funny because people, they had 24 hours to update, but within that 24 hours, we got a new version. But as always happens, as we get a new Smartnode version, the clients kind of went on the frenzy of releasing updates. So here we had Teku had 24.1.0 with some updates here as well, and they said that this is an additional update for anyone using Gurley, to get ready for the Deneb update. Then we had one from Nethermind as well, and said this is important for the Denkun update. So everyone's calling it different things, but if you want to be on for Gurley, testnet, that's happening on the 17th. Get ready for that, and this is the version that you need. And then here we had one from Geth as well, saying that this issue this new update fixes a few issues and enables the Cancun update for the Gurley network, which is happening on the 17th. So I think that there was a lot of joking going on in the Discord about how we now need number 1.11.5 to come out with these updates. So here Sneaky made a new version of the PWAP, and he even put like a little thing from Joe says, new release every day until Houston, let's go. so Smartnode, I think Fornax is going to be working on compiling those images every day. Yeah, but there was a lot of joking going on about that, and I don't know when 1.11.5 is going to come out, but probably soon if this is something to pay attention to. Okay, so yesterday I kind of explained the information about the EigenLayer thread that was created, and that's already been extremely active. Well, Jasper pointed out a couple of posts that he thinks that I should share with you all. So here there was one by Seamus who says that there are a few different options for what we can do about integrating EigenLayer into Rocket Pool. So he says, number one, deposit ETH to a new protocol, Rocket Layer, and it works like EigenLayer's native restaking, where withdrawal addresses point to a contract that shares both Ethereum /risk and the AVS /risk. He says option two, I deposit an LST, could be RETH or STETH, and now it works like LST restaking that EigenLayer is doing, where the LST is just a splashable asset and the node operator is just doing AVS duties, and the LST is slashable. So it'd be like a second collateral basically. It says in both options, the node operator could be required to put up their own bond as well. So like an additional collateral. It says under option two, the LST you choose determines your Ethereum staking /risk. So Lido node operators, if they deposit STETH, Rocket Pool node operators, they deposit RETH. It says, and then the node operator sets your deposit to your LST to just determine the AVS /risk. This is the main thing important though, is that it's kind of competing product to Rocket Pool unless you choose only to accept RETH, for example. And Jasper says, I see it's definitely not feasible to launch an entirely new LST for this. It would be directly competing with RETH. That would be worse than Rocket Pool than adopting this. He says, I won't lie, something like that has been floated in circles before, like having some kind of fork of Rocket Pool with EigenLayer built into it. Jasper, I guess, has come across people kind of presenting the idea that is a path to integrating EigenLayer into Rocket Pool, is by creating a fork of Rocket Pool that has that in it, which I think would be really bad. And hopefully we can come up with some kind of solution before that option needs to be taken. And Jasper says, Seamus says, unless you force RETH to be the only LST accepted, and Jasper says you can't. The forks node will have their own LST unrelated to RETH. And then there was another idea here as well, presented by Epinef. He says, thank goodness I was going to start a thread and run into this one first. So because this will likely end up on my desk, and I'm the GMC member who knows the least about the most technical things, I assume that RETH will be protected only by allowing execution layer slashing of the node operator portion, and to keep Rocket Pool incentives aligned. Presumably, more than 1 ETH of node operator stake has to remain so that node operator won't abandon slash. So when the execution layer rewards be proportional to something like 32 minus LEB1, which means that execution layer will directly competing with the bond reduction, which indirectly decreases our ETH supply, question mark. So then Jasper was like, it's unclear what the curve is like. EigenD is the first EVS, seemingly requires a very low bond, and excess capital serves little purpose. I don't think we can draw a direct relationship between bond size and incentives. We'd also have to consider the number of users who decide to opt in because of the added value opportunities beyond those who would just choose to not bond reduce. The non-reducers seem like a much smaller population. So there's a lot of ideas that are kind of floating around here that, you know, I think it makes a lot of sense to engage with these. And I think the GMC is, you know, the bounty is going to be on our table for approval. Today, I think, is the end of this period. So like from tomorrow. So I think, you know, all the GMC members who are going to be talking about that will probably read through this thread and try to understand what it entails and, like, you know, what the pros and cons are and what might be happening because of this going forwards. Okay, so earlier on we talked about Rocket Pool's tokenomics. So here the Unchained podcast put out an article about liquid staking provider Rocket Pool looks to revamp RPL tokens. So here says the second largest liquid staking provider on Ethereum is not keeping pace with its top competitor Lido, and basically is a response to that. So this article here is by Sage Young, and talking about Rocket Pool, about how, you know, we're in the really early stages of making changes to the tokenomics of the RPL token, and then you know, it mentions the rapid research incubator and how that's ending on Tuesday, but people can still submit ideas and to, you know, the GMC to assess that. And then here, you know, you can go to read the article to get more information, but there were Hildobby here says, you know, talking about Lido's community staking module, saying Lido plans to launch more decentralized option within a year. This likely threatens the value proposition and growth of Rocket Pool, but more generally the idea of credible neutrality and decentralization of the Ethereum network. The community posts its bounty. Rocket Pool will need to adapt in multiple ways to meet this competition. They are at a point where they need to think outside the box and quickly. So of course, those of you who watch Rocket Fuel know that, you know, we are thinking outside the box with this, and here there was some some comment from Waldorf as well. It says a member of Rocket Pool's incentive management committee expects actual changes in Rocket Pool's tokenomics to occur in the long term. The smart contract changes 6 months is essentially the best possibility if things are clear and there's a great agreement. Waldorf wrote to Unchained on Discord, while there's heavy community interest in making Rocket Pool's product better, it is not overnight by a long shot. So I think Val did the right thing here to kind of temper expectations, and, you know, this is probably going to be going to take the better part of, you know, 9, maybe 12 months to get all of this through agreement, through auditing, through testing, everything to get that done. And yeah, this was a nice article. So go and give it a read if you are interested in what Unchained are saying about Rocket Pool. Okay, next we got this nice little story here of this node operator, you know, who's a shark with their 100 validators joined the smoothing pool. So it's always nice to see that, you know, the smoothing pool is still something that people are using with Rocket Pool. It's extremely exciting to see, you know, how well it's doing, and that's really great. So Bossy here gave them a nice introduction saying the shark joined the smoothing pool with 100 validators. Welcome, fam. So the smoothing pool, of course, you know, is a huge value proposition for Rocket Pool, and I think it's a really great tool that we have that. So it's nice when we get things like that. Okay, next we have the story from PancakeSwap, who have got a new cycle of rewards going for Rocket Pool tokens there, which is their RETH pool with wrapped ETH. With ETH pool, and then they're saying that they are giving out rewards daily of 280 cake and 52 RPL, which works out to be about $2,280 every day, which is an absolutely wonderful amount. So if you are interested in providing liquidity for your RETH with ETH, check out PancakeSwap with their token value appreciation as well now, and with the RPL token appreciation since this post went live on the 9th, you know, that's worth even more now than $2,280. And finally, we're going to enter today's episode with a couple of memes that were shared here. This one's from Buddha saying, "I fear no man but that thing," and it's Waldorf typing. It says, "It scares me." And then Zemo had a couple of twists on that meme as well, saying Waldorf is typing, and he says, "Oh shit," which is, Odin from the Thor movies. And then finally, this was my favorite one here. Waldorf is typing, and then there's the Tiger King guy saying, "I'm never going to financially recover from this," because there's a meme in the community that Val either ruined the tokenomics when things are down, or Val has saved the tokenomics when things are up. So it's a nice little thing to finish the episode on. But today, honestly, was one of those days. Yesterday and today were one of those landmark days in crypto history, and I think it's going to go down as one of the biggest days in crypto. Definitely since I've been a part of it. Maybe like Mount Gox or something before that, or the Bitcoin BCH split might have been bigger, but in my time in crypto, this was definitely one of the biggest days, like up there with the Terra Luna collapse and others. So I hope you're all taking leverage responsibly and not like being too degen, but congratulations, this is now a new era of cryptocurrency adoption, and the fact that traditional finance vehicles now can get into onto crypto rails, well, not really crypto rails, but like into crypto ecosystems, is absolutely amazing. So I'm really happy that I'm here sharing this with all of you. There's nowhere I'd rather be than in the Discord and talking to all of you trading regulars about all this. So thanks all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I think that this is now the beginning of something really, really great. So I'm excited to share that with you all, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.